I'd like to introduce you to Jim and Kome. This is honestly a privilege, even for myself. Interesting fact, we have worked for years, but I've only seen them twice physically. I've seen him twice physically. Today was the first day that I saw Kome physically. What are the odds? But I'm going to have them introduce themselves. So Jim, please go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Jim Karutu. I'm a visual effects artist, I'm a motion graphics artist and a colorist. I'm the founder of a post and AI studio called Pixel Genie. And I've been in the industry for a while. I've worked on TV commercials, TV shows, and a lot of other varieties, documentaries across East Africa, South Africa, Nigeria, and for different platforms from TV, Netflix, Canal Plus, etc. So I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of people, and like Louisa says, unfortunately some of us are locked in a dungeon, so people will never know what we look like, but probably you've seen our work.
Wait, before you pass that, because the mic is yours, Shikilia. How, you said many years. What is many years?
Many years. So I don't know. So let's just say I sharpened my teeth with something called Cobra Squad. So I worked on Cobra Squad as a cameraman, editor. I was an all-rounded guy. But Cobra Squad is what, because of the demands, it's what made me want to specialize. And instead of just doing general edit, my first interest was visual effects, then color grading. So it's more than 20 years now.
Brilliant. Round of applause. Okay. All right. Okay, Kome, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kome. I'm a member of AFEC, part of the board of AFEC, along with these two people here. I'm a visual effects artist, post-production supervisor, AI creative as well. Yeah, I've been doing this for about maybe 12, 13 years now. Been privileged as well to work on projects in the same broadcast space, you know, Netflix's, Showmax's, those kinds of things. And happy to be here. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so they have a VFX presentation and an AI presentation. I believe, Jim, you're the one who's going to start us off. So we will have it projected on the screen. So Jim will go ahead.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please don't panic. So it's not going to be a lecture or anything of the sort, but as far as VFX and the very curious conversation so far is AI, it needs a little bit of show and tell. So I'll introduce the topic, and Kome will run it through at some point. But so I'll just start with a quick and basic conversation about what VFX is. So the first thing that comes to a lot of people's mind is green screen. That's the first and most common use of VFX. But for us, the people that work in the dark rooms, in the dungeons, away from the sunlight, I don't know why I'm still dark all these years, but so it is also about giving the edge to a story that could not, any edge that could not have been achieved on set, or any vision a director or anyone working on a story has tried to achieve, but it's either too impossible to shoot because it's dangerous, or too expensive, or just, let's say, out of this world. So one thing we say about VFX is, if you notice it, then it has not been done well. So there's a lot of movies out there that you've watched, the VFX is there, but you've not seen. It could be a drama, and what they changed was the house, the room, they added some trees, they extended the set. And there are different skills that are employed to get to this point. So some of it is compositing, which is the bringing together of additional elements on top of the footage that has been shot in order to adjust or change whatever visuals are there to fit the director's vision. So there's rotoscoping. So rotoscoping is usually how people are initiated into visual effects. Rotoscoping used to be you cut out someone frame by frame. So this used to happen anytime there was a shot that was not done on green screen, but you need to change something behind the actor. So everyone has been afraid of rotoscoping. So there's motion tracking. In order to add something onto footage and to have that item you've added to move the same way as the camera, so that's what we employ motion tracking for. So, and then there's cleanup and removal. So this is how we call it technically, but I think directors and people on set call it fix it in post. So cleanup and removal is anything we do to add or remove anything you did not like, which makes a large percentage of the VFX tasks. So there's set extensions. I would say the Kenyan market hasn't used it much, but what people normally do is when you're constricted and on set, you can just build what you need to build just around your actor and what they interact with. Like up to this edge and up to this edge, and everything else can be built in post, which is usually quite a shortcut, but I think one of the problems we've had is from the directors, from the pre-production, a lot of people do not understand what's capable with VFX, so they end up pushing themselves and picking up a lot of headaches that could have been solved in post. So yeah, there are some things that should be solved in post, there are some that should not. So things like simulation are about where we add fire, water, smoke, and any other natural elements. So I hope no one is feeling sleepy so far, so we'll try and move fast before anyone dozes off. So now when it comes to VFX, where we have been and what has put a big gap between Africa and, let's say, Hollywood and the other markets has been because VFX and specialized post has required very large teams. It has required a lot of resources. It has required a lot of skill levels and that have not been accessible to mostly a lot of the African market. So you'd find pre-production has needed people like VFX supervisors, like the previous team was asked whether they use storyboards and such. So a lot of people will not use a lot of these resources because they also cost money and they also take a bit of time. So on set we have the green screens, we have LEDs, we have things like we call plates. That's when we want to take out, change the background. So you have to do some photography. So in post now there's the rotoscoping, which I was mentioning earlier. And when it comes to delivery, there's also particular formats. There's particular types of files that are used, EXRs and other files that are used for VFX. So we also do not operate with the same files that would come out of a post-production edit suite. So now the barrier for most of our productions, most of our movies has never been the talent or the stories that are in Africa, but how we execute, how most of us, anyone who's been either in editing or shooting or in production. So one of the things we always, shy away from or afraid of is the critics. So we have a lot more critics than people that make films. So one thing people suffer from is we have a lot of talent, but the quality is always what we get criticized about. Oh, I don't want to watch local stuff because it doesn't look a certain way, it doesn't. And a lot of the edge that, let's say, more advanced markets have is they'll have better VFX, they'll have better lighting maybe, and all this is just because of budgets. And I think for the longest time, one of the markets that has been most criticized is the Nigerians. So they used to say, oh, I don't want it to look like a Nigerian movie. It became a stereotype where maybe someone is turning into a goat. So there was some kind of magic that was. So a lot of people have shied from VFX because they felt the quality will make it look worse. So I'd rather have a film that looks normal than add VFX that will make it look even a lot worse or look fake. So we have always been solving global problems. We've come quite far. If you look at the movies that have been there from way back up to where we are now, the movies have advanced. So with all these issues that we said we've had, we have still been able to grow. We have still been able to put out. A lot of the people here are talented. They've put out a lot of amazing movies. The panel you've seen here, and a lot of people have done it with very little resources. So what we are saying is there's still a lot more work to get done, and there's still a lot more stories to get told. And at this point, I'll hand over to Kome, where we've finished introducing VFX. So now we'll start showing you how we have now started bridging the gap between the African market and what is happening with Hollywood and all the other larger markets, to see how to make the gap smaller and make our movies a lot more interesting. Because over the last, I think, 15 years, all the major movies that have been blockbusters have VFX in them. Marvel has blown up, so it's almost becoming impossible to do a movie that doesn't have VFX or doesn't have a lot of the impossible stuff in it. So for this talk, we're just going to try and show you how VFX and AI is helping us bridge the gap. So I'll introduce Kome. Kome is one of the very interesting artists with a lot of experience and has done quite some amazing work.
Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you, Jim. Let's put this here. All right. So I know lunchtime is almost here. I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm here to just share a bit about what I've done with AI in my work, both on local films, local TV commercials, and yeah, pretty much just take you through the processes, and then we'll take it from there. So I'll allow you to show me my show reel, a bit of work I've done, and then we get into it. Thank you. All right, how many of us here have interacted with AI when it comes to video? How many guys have made content with AI before? Video? How about audio? Any audio? All right, images? Yeah? All right. At least ChatGPT, at least like conversating. How should I talk to my boyfriend or girlfriend? Okay, sawa. All right, so at least AI is not a new thing to us. I think I'll just focus on the creative part of this, particularly video. And just one thing I want to say about AI and VFX, because I started out in VFX for the past maybe 10 years. Now the latest 3 years of that has been more and more getting into AI. And what I can say about AI is the foundations of VFX still apply to how to use AI. So in terms of, if the planning phases are still the same, where AI comes in is just to help in iterations, whether it's making more changes, discovering new ideas, that kind of thing. That's where AI comes in to just fasten that process. However, the foundations are still the same. And, I think, as you can see, AI can enhance the planning phase, the shooting phase, the building of assets, the finishing of it. However, the stages of VFX all still apply, all right? So AI just helps every stage of the pipeline just be a bit clearer to everyone in the team. AI is not here tomorrow. It's not something that's so far away from us that it's in Hollywood only. It's here with us. And I don't know if you can see the background a bit here. AI is able to assist in just enhancing things in such, I think, a fast way of iterations. Concept frames are much faster to be done. You can pre-visualize stuff earlier and quickly, so everyone in the team knows exactly what's going to be executed. Cleaning up and doing roto, as Jim was explaining earlier, these are things that can be automated now. When it comes to matte painting, set extensions, as you can see here, and and finishing up commercials or films or whatever you're trying to do. I just want to share with you just a bit of something I've done, or a few projects I've done, so you can kind of have an understanding of what I'm talking about here. And so the idea is, as an artist and as we come up with stuff, it's not about, AI coming in to take people's jobs, not necessarily. That's not the case, I think. It's the person who maybe integrates AI into their workflow. And again, as I said, and I want to iterate that AI is not coming to start a new process in post. The foundations are still the same. It's just enhancing those elements in post.
Beti imechomeka? Don't worry, smile back, because at WezaBet we give you up to 20% cashback on your lost bet. Hii ndio inaweza.
That's an example of an AI project. It took me about a day and a half to do. The voiceover, the animation, storyboarding, the entire process was about 2 days. However, you still have to develop the character. You still have to cast in that perspective. I think Jim will mention a bit about that, environments, and then the animations and the story. However, everything in that commercial you've just watched was entirely done in AI, including the voiceover. Another project I think you saw earlier on my showreel is this Del Monte project. Maybe you might have seen some billboards. And just to show you how the process usually goes is we start again from AI. This is the concept part. This is the middle section of this screen. You kind of see how I pitched this to the client using the images. And then we went to shoot them on green screen. And by the way, I think we're still in a world where, some of us are like, is AI really going to, take actors' jobs and stuff? I would say not yet. As you can see, it's just about integrating the different worlds and how to bring it closer to what we had. Of course, it saves a lot of budget instead of set design and stuff like that, but again, it's just the incorporation of both worlds. So we shot on green screen. We did some tests with AI in terms of how direction will be and all that. And as you saw earlier, how the final commercial came came to be. So what I'm trying to say here is, let's not wait for permission to do anything these days. I think the power is with us. We need our own stories will be told by us, and AI is here to bridge that gap. There's no more excuses of there's no budget, or it's the learning curve for softwares is too much. I think with AI and cloud and accessibility of these tools enables us to make this a reality. So the goal is not to copy Hollywood. The goal is just to do our things on our own way. And I would encourage us to do a 30-day VFX and AI skills sprint. So what this means is, as I'm aware some of us may not have done videos or images before with AI, just take a few hours a week, yes, learn and see what people are doing, master one tool, add an AI assist to enable you with that process, and then just create an image or a piece of video to enable you to learn these processes, because AI is here to stay. And yeah. I think just something to highlight as I want to invite Jim back is I'll be doing some short behind the scenes content on my website. You can take a screenshot of that. And on the 10th of May, I think I'll be launching some few tips and tricks on how to go about AI, things like that. I know today is a bit of a short session, but I just wanted to give you an overview of what's happening currently on the ground here in Nairobi. I'm accessible on these platforms, and please feel free to reach out to me at any time. Thank you very much.
So I'll bring this to a close by looking at, we all know where we are. We all, as most of you said, a lot of you have used AI, whether it's to ask GTP to write a message, adjust an image, or just any other basic stuff. And most of us have not used it for work. So, but some of us, Kome and I, have experimented with it a bit, have used it on some official projects. And what we are going to close this is by telling you what we've seen and where we think it's headed, and finish by the commentary of whether it will take our jobs or not. So the future of Post as far as AI is concerned and our place in it. So as I'd said earlier, the barrier is becoming thinner. So at this stage, at some point, we'll be able to do a lot of the same stuff that you see on bigger blockbusters. It's just a question of how soon and how dedicated we are to learning and incorporating some of these processes into our current workflows. So you'll find storyboarding, pre-visualizations used to take 3 to 5 days. Now you can get it done in less than 30 minutes. So I'd call out to anyone who's directing, who's trying to develop the idea. It's still in the idea stage. Now there is no barrier to you accessing either a storyboard or even actual visuals, as you will see in a short while, to you accessing visuals that can tell you, even before you shoot, how your setup is going to be. You can make decisions in terms of how the actor will be dressed, how the set will look, all this way before you even start shooting and from the script stage. So AI will bring us to a point where the pre-production process will be a lot more involved and way, way faster than it has been before. And the conversation of whether some jobs will go, some will stay, is also up there. No one knows. To be honest, no one knows yet. But the reason we join groups like AFEC is so that we can have these conversations and be the ones who decide how it affects us, instead of waiting for it to change and we either lose jobs or something changes. So those of us who've used AI and have seen a lot of people, and this has happened also with a lot of clients. They'll say, no, 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 I don't want to use AI because it looks AI-ish. That word for that phrase, it's called, the technical term is AI slop. It's all those ads people see and then they're like, oh, that looks fake, it looks so AI. So the reason why we've been having AI slop, or any of us that have tried to generate an image or a short video and it looks funny, 6 fingers, you know, funny, a lot of funny stuff, is because the people who put out AI first and the communication that was there was like, oh, here is the magical thing. All you need to do is write a sentence, press send, and voila. So that was false marketing. So all we were told is you type a prompt, get an output, and our reactions have been, AI does not work. But what we have learned so far from using it is that the craft behind getting proper AI is knowing what tools to use, because there are many different AIs that do different things, and knowing when to use it. So AI was built to complement the pipeline, not replace it. And the conversations about us losing our jobs or changing things is because we are thinking AI will come and be the magical solution to whatever we do or whatever we create. So that is not the right way to use AI or to think about it. So things like lighting, composition, continuity, storytelling, that employing those on an individual level is what changes AI from looking like the general AI that people generate to looking like something that gets closer to being usable. So this, before you see that, so this is just a short show reel containing just only stuff that's been done with AI. The intention, whether it's been used or not, the intention was not to have it used as a final product, but it is as a pitch to see how a scene will look like, to see how a brief or a script can be translated, and just to showcase, like, let's call it a proof of concept. So this is some AI work that has been used to visualize the... So this is stuff that has been used. So some of the reasons for creating such stuff with AI is to help with things like checking out the cast. Let's say you already have cast, or you don't have cast, and you're imagining, I'd like to have in my film, or in my short film, or in a TV commercial, what I'm looking to have is an old person, 30 to 60, and a young lady, etc. So AI allows you to try and visualize what they look like in your story and how they would carry your story. So it also helps to carry the director's vision, because a lot of times when you have pre-productions or you have meetings, a lot of them, right now we are using 60% conversation and maybe 30 to 20% visuals. And if I say a sentence like, oh, I want a nice, warm, a sunset, and the actor walks towards down the road. So all of us will have a different image. If we are told to draw what we saw, the vision keeps changing based on everyone's imagination. So now with something like AI, it becomes much easier to have the director create the vision they have and have it shared across all departments, from wardrobe to set to cast and all the other departments. So this is some of the piece you saw where the people are swiping the visa. So this was the cast as was determined or was described. So when the director says, I want someone who looks like a runner, I want this, I want someone from this particular side of Ethiopia, I want someone from this other side. So you're able to create the image and have an idea of what the director is looking for. And something like this is sent to the casting agent, or you already have, it's more visual and it saves time. It cuts down the time in terms of what you're looking for by having just created it in a short while, in a few hours, on a computer and a machine. You can even work on what outfit you want them to wear. You can even just go in and say, oh no, I don't want I want her to be a bit bigger or a bit smaller, more athletic, and all that. So pre-production is being reimagined. Right now, anyone who knows which tool to use, not just ChatGPT, there's tools to use for storyboarding. Anyone, even a director, can just go in and do their own storyboards in a very short time without having to know how to draw. So all aspects of pre-production, there's a particular part that you can try and employ AI in your workflow. So once we had the cast, so there's a conversation about the location, what's behind, what camera angles would work. So this is also a pure test in AI, asking it or preparing a workflow where you're like, so let's see what kind of camera angles we'd go for. Are we going to go crazy? Are we going to have, and with an image like this, it's easy and immediately possible to send this to your camera department. They'll know which lenses, which gear to have, instead of being on set on the day and then you're trying to think, oh, we should have got, I wish we had a dolly, I wish we had a crane. So you can make these decisions way earlier in prep. So in terms of directing actors, in terms of thinking, how emotional do you want your actor to be? What kind of emotion do you want the actor to carry? What kind of scene will they be in? What will they be doing? So even in being able to change, oh no, this scene will work better if we change the actor to an African actor. So you are able to experiment and do any possible mistakes that would happen on set. You can do them way before you shoot, and it would not take as long or be as expensive as it would have been before. So what AI is doing for us in post is allowing us to do things that enable us to have a tangible vision instead of just having written scripts. It's now much easier to accompany visuals with the AI. So what is happening is the workflow is changing, and it's not just VFX, it's basically all departments. And so when we say AI is not here to replace you, how we've seen it being effective is not by you replacing someone in your team with AI. It is having someone who, like let's say a casting director, being able to use AI makes their work much easier, and they're able to offer the team a lot more than they would have without having to run around, spend too much time or too much money getting the vision there. So if it is locations, it's much easier to prepare the locations without having to spend much time. So what all these tools are doing is not replacing people. It's just, it's an addition to whatever skill you have. So it's just a matter of learning over time. And like Kome said, we have to start using AI, experimenting, find out which tool works for your particular profession, whether you're a sound recordist, whether you're an editor, there is an AI tool for each person in each department. And all it does, it just makes your work easier and way faster. So some amazing things that are doing, because this part is about the future, is right now, if you're an offline editor, softwares like Premiere and DaVinci Resolve, you can actually, the same way you tell ChatGPT to write you an email, you can tell it to give you an offline cut. You can say a prompt like, give me a 30-second cut using the footage in this folder and fast-paced with this kind of emotion and put this kind of music as a bed. And you'll just, it is able to open your app and you'll just see things moving without you even touching it. So you find like if you're an offline editor, all you need to do is within 5 minutes, you can get an offline done, and all you need to do is just check, tweak here and there. So instead of doing the job you've been doing for 2 days, you can now get it done in 30 minutes. So editors have had this thing where you have a 30-second piece, and you've downloaded music that is 1 minute long. Right now, the latest Premiere, all you need to do is just grab the end of your audio file and reduce it up to the point you want, and Premiere will remix the audio itself from the intro to the outro without you having to cut and find where the beat syncs. So AI is already with us. The tools we are using every day have AI in them. So it's also just a matter of finding out where they are. So a lot of things are moving to AI, whether we like it or not. And it's basically the future all of us have to embrace. It's not as complicated as it sounds or as it seems. All it needs is, like Kome said, just start slow. Do not think there's one button that you'll push that will give you all the answers. It's the same way if you're doing an edit, you have to add small pieces together. So AI and the workflow for AI is the same. You just have to get and understand the small pieces you need to build and bring them together, whether you're building them with AI or you're doing it manually. So to emphasize that AI can't replace us, as much as AI can do, all AI does right now is just do heavy lifting. AI can't have the cultural intelligence to know if you have 5 takes when a Kenyan says, where, which is the right one, which carries the right emotion. So AI can't do that. It will just know, oh, this is what is happening and place it there. So you cannot be replaced. When it comes to taste, knowing when, oh, that edit is properly paced, making that judgment, AI cannot and is nowhere near doing that. And also direction in terms of deciding which clips to put before which, and in order to make your story have a certain feel, have the right pace. So AI still can't do that, and it is nowhere near being able to do that. So that's why we are saying, as much as AI will change some things, it will not replace us unless we get left behind and refuse to incorporate it and start using it in small, small pieces in our day-to-day. So what you need to do is make sure you're building fluency now in terms of understanding what the tools are before you're forced. Before you find every job you're working on demands it. Develop a taste in terms of what tools you want to use and what kind of output you want your AI to give. So, and just make the work, not talk about what you think you can do with AI, just start using it. So the question for Africa is not whether AI will change VFX or post or the industry. It already has, it already is doing it. A lot of the tools that you've been using, whether you're editing sound, they already have AI tools in them. It's just that maybe you haven't started. And we will get to a point whereby by the time we get to the 3rd or the 4th version of the softwares we use, AI will have changed quite significantly, and the workflows will all have AI in one way or another. So all it's doing is AI is waiting for us to embrace it. It's already here. So my name is, again, Jim Karutu. So I specialize in post, but at Pixel Genie we also try and build workflows that help people understand which AI best suits whatever it is you're doing. So I'm also a proud member of AFEC, and all these conversations about whether AI will do it, will change our lives or will affect us. We are able to have these conversations when we are part of a group. So all these conversations had all the ideas. There are people who feel a certain way. We are going to have issues. There's people who see the opportunities. But to be honest, no one really knows how it's going to go yet. And in such a situation, all we can do is just make sure we control which direction it goes. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. All right. Yes, there is the QR code. Please go ahead and sign. Thank you so very much for the presentation. AI has been a dark cloud on people's heads. Some, others have really embraced it. Of course, as he said, these are conversations that are going to be ongoing. So please follow us on our socials, email us, scan the QR code, let's get your contacts. Let's keep things going because we're definitely going to need to implement some policies, some rules, you know, using people's images. But I actually have a question. I'm going to definitely throw it to you guys, but I have a question to both of them, and I'm going to start with you, Jim. Sorry for interrupting your drink. So, Jim, we've had this conversation before, but now let's have it in the room. Actors can actually take advantage of this AI because when you showed how they do it in adverts, whereby you have the model, actors can actually do that with their own physiques. So, Jim, could you expound on that a bit? Because I know it's one major thing that actors are very worried about, but your perspective was actually very interesting.
So yes, there's been conversation from different people. Like one question has been, since AI is getting to a point where it can create images and people that look very realistic, and possibly by the end of the year, we'll have visuals that will be quite difficult to tell whether it's AI or it's real. So one conversation we had with a few actors was, what is changing is the work they need to do is going to reduce, but I see their avenues of increasing their income becoming a bit more. Because now, the same way you saw the slide that has different actors, AI is now able, anyone, even if you're not an actor, but you have a certain look, you can get your photos taken. There's something we call a LoRa. So a LoRa is, anyone is able to train their own AI. So you just teach AI for, like, let's say you get Pascal Tokodi, you create a LoRa for Pascal Tokodi. So now once you connect that LoRa to any AI and you type, like, let's say in ChatGPT and say, Pascal Tokodi drinking tea, it knows now exactly who Pascal Tokodi is, exactly who he looks like. So the conversations with government about AI and the regulations is also in terms of how personal images are used. But now for actors, you'll find you can license your image. You can be on multiple sets at the same time and still get paid. You can have your image used for even way longer. You can be a cameraman, but you have a look that can go on set. So now what it's going to do for actors, one way of like employing it, is just having casting agencies now just moving not only from the physical casting, someone comes and takes a photo, but those photos that are taken, you also license them to have an AI likeness of you that can also be used for such ads and content, and you still get paid for it. So that's basically one way.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to add on that, it's the same for voiceover artists. You could have your voice licensed, and people can use that through AI in different commercials and things like that. Just as I showed on that Where's That Bet video, the voiceover was a Kenyan voiceover artist who allowed me to, I forget the word, what's the word? Allowed me to use the voice. However, it was all generated through AI. So there's a different way of looking at things now, I think. And yeah, just to add to Jim's point there.
Okay, but please remember, guys, we're not saying you must do AI. We're saying it's possible. Do not let it be, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. You can make it work for you, especially if you're someone who has had an idea and you've had this story in your head, but you know it required like a $50 million budget. You can start off with telling that story with AI. And of course, tapping into Jim and Kome. Now, I'm ready. We are ready for the question and answer. I'm sure there's quite a bit. I'm not surprised you're the first one. Please introduce yourself. Last time you didn't introduce yourself.
I know. Paula Lowett. I'm a lawyer from New York, and I practiced entertainment law for a good number of years. Question for you guys. You know, the beginning of your presentation said, you know, there have been huge barriers to entry to get the production values to equate to, you know, international standards of, you know, refinement. And now with AI, it seems like a lot of the problems on production values can be circumvented with these tools. What would the barrier? What are the barriers to entry for that? Is it only software, or is it also your incredible skill with post-production? I don't even know what you use, but like, is there a hardware thing, a hardware element that's important to have? And yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think there are two answers to that. It helps having the foundation of post-production at first. I don't think AI is here to solve all our problems. So you still have to apply the foundations of planning, you know, what are you looking for? The initial pre-production, production stages still apply. I would say language, we're going back to language, I think. Descriptive writing, knowing how to prompt, that's why there's such a thing as prompt engineering. I think that is something that we should all start looking into. And the answer for, is it a hardware thing, is it a cost thing? I think they are twofold. Jim will answer the hardware part. I'll say there are tools that are free that we could begin with. There are tools that are cheap online on a monthly subscription that we could experiment with as you generate AI content. So I would say what's happening is the playing ground is getting level now from guys who had big budgets, big studios, big teams. Now with a team of 2 people, even just 1 person can be able to do a children's animation show that's maybe 3 minutes long, 5 minutes long. And you just have consistent YouTube content, maybe something like that. Jim, maybe you could add to that.
Before we go to Jim, one software that I'm familiar with is Runway. Are there like 10 runways out there, and which ones are leading and which ones have you found most useful?
Sure, yeah. Uh-huh.
So just to describe what we've been using, I'll try and make it as simple as possible. So the same way we have, like let's say I'll use Safaricom as an example. So the M-Pesa app is how you interact with Safaricom services. It's how you access M-Pesa. But Safaricom itself is the one that's handling the money. There's the technical back end that is moving the money, showing you your balance, etc. But the M-Pesa app is how that service is packaged for you to interact with. So things like Runway, ChatGPT, Claude, those are just the interfaces. The actual AI in the back end are things like Opus, GPT 5.5, Kimi 2.5. Some of these names that you hear are the actual AI in the back. So what these companies have done is they've just created like a web page for you to access. So the runways and the things that most of us have used are just the front ends. The actual AI machines, but this is a lot, is on a higher technical level. The actual AI models you can download onto your own machine, and it's much cheaper than you paying the 20 per month. So, but now, like you asked, the hardware implication. So to run AI currently on your own machine requires, the biggest ask is a graphics card. It's not even about the processor or the memory. You need very high-end graphics card. And the lower your graphics card is, the longer it will take for you to generate an image. So now what companies do is they own, like let's say Runway owns a lot of servers where the AIs are installed. And so what Runway does, it gives you an interface where you can write what you want, and that interface sends your prompt to the server. And the servers are fast, and that's why you get your image back. If you are to try to do it on your own machine, it's a lot more expensive. So now the other thing is,
Sorry, more expensive
the
on your
setup.
own
It's
machine?
more expensive to set up your own machine to do
Oh,
the
of course.
AI. Yeah, to do the AI from your machine, the setup, the cost of the equipment might be the only prohibiting factor. But a lot of these AIs, once you have them on your machine, it's all free. So what we've done for ourselves is we have some AI that we use our own machines to create, and some models they don't allow you to download. Those ones are the ones we use online.
Okay, so, sorry, just follow-up question. So you're saying that right now, Runway and its competitors are using the same, what I would say IP, I'm a lawyer, sorry, but the same code or whatever, whatever that back-end smarty pants function is. And they've just, it's the interface that I'm really operating with. So really all those guys are using the same heart and lungs, right? Is that true?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So some of them are, it's basically, let me use like cars. So you'll find a lot of cars like the Mercedes, maybe the Porsche, and they share the same engine. The body is different. And so if Mercedes sells an engine to Porsche uses the core of Mercedes but changes the engine a bit. So that's basically, I don't know if that has complicated it. So, but most of the AIs, the core AIs are more or less the same. But what happens is Runway will take the core and tweak it, adjust, add a few things, make it be able to do images better. So someone will take that AI and tweak it, make it be a lot better at doing documents. So the person tweaks it according to what they want to use it for. So if you download AI onto your own machine, if you have the know-how, you're also able to tweak it to create what you want it to do. So like we have downloaded our own AI, and things like background removals, keying green screens. So now the VFX artists don't do it themselves. We have our own AI that does it according to how we feel it should be done. When someone is editing or when someone is doing VFX, everyone has their own way. So that is why we are saying, if you are skilled in a certain field and you get to that level where you can tweak AI, you can teach the AI how you do your own things, and then from that point on, you do not need to do it yourself. You can just tell it, do it the way I do it. And that's basically now the advantage of controlling the AI yourself on your own machine.
So, sorry, it's all open source. The AI is open source now. Not everyone has to do their own, right? And then you build on top of it, which is proprietary. It's your own thing. Quick question for editing. Will AI be able to do all that cataloging and saying that, you know, there's a grenade here and there's a tank in here and all of that sorry, it's more a post, you know, an editing question, but all that cataloging, that assistance, you know, that grind, is that going to become automated?
Yeah. Yes. That's already happening. There are tools that will literally just review the images within the footage and be able to catalog and tell you what the editor, Mark, was talking about. He had an assistant editor who was helping him catalog. AI is is coming to that space. And also just to get started, an easy way and faster way maybe before we get to the level of investments into having the AI on by yourself, check out platforms like Higgsfield that have multiple AI companies within one platform. You know, you'll have Sora, you'll have Nano Banana, you'll have VO3 under one subscription, and just play around with that as you get to see what works for you, what doesn't work. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm really sorry. We have to wrap up. Do we have time for one more question? Hi. No, we've been told no. Sorry. But we're still around, so please feel free to continue. Yeah, let's continue chatting. And our booth is there. Scan, and let's talk. Sorry, please. 1 minute. I think the mic was even taken away. That's how bad it is. But please, let's continue the conversation. This is honestly an evolving thing. So yeah, visit our booth, AFEC, at the end there. Scan the QR code, send us emails, follow us on our socials, and let's continue having the convo. But round of applause for Jim and Kome. And thank you, too, for being an amazing audience. We really thought you guys were going to be 5, and it's awesome that you're not. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Have a lovely, lovely day. Thank you. Please forgive me. Our chairman has to say something about AFEC. Please.
Chairman.
Chairman.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'll be very, very quick. I'm sorry. But my name is Justin Washira. I'm the chairman of the Association of Film Editors in Kenya. I'm a film and documentary editor. I run a post-production house called Videocraft Studio. And it's my great honor, to be here with you guys. Thank you very much to you guys. And these conversations, I can see you guys have enjoyed them. And if you want to have more of them, please join our forums, Association of Film Editors in Kenya. So we are established to be a network of professionals. We believe that these kind of conversations are the ones that are going to elevate our craft, and we are constantly having them. Once we identify within the conversations gaps in our knowledge, we have webinars, we have masterclasses within our forums. We also network with international organizations. We have an organization partnering with us called Tempo. Through them, we're even able to engage with guys like Adobe, other technology companies. So we are in the conversation, even including about, will AI take our jobs? We're able to send editors to to Adobe. We sent editors to Adobe to ask them that very question. And I think we still have work for a few more years. So thank you very much. Please join us outside. Please be part of our forums. We are also on an accreditation journey, such that we're able to grant the letters AFEK, AFEC, to professional editors who are accredited and therefore able to work worldwide and to service all the markets. So thank you very much. I also want to take a moment here to honor our fallen comrades. Nick Wambogo was represented on this stage by his colleague Mark. We have Frankia Shiruka who passed away unfortunately a year or so ago. We have Mercy Adundo. We have recently Robert Safari. So we are a community, we are a network of friends, and once in a while we do come out of that dark room you've heard of, and we interact like this. So asanteni sana, join us at our booth, scan our QR code, and we will continue to interact. Asanteni sana.